Hi everybody, I'm Jerson. With me this week is Mario, and today's Thursday, January 11th. We are coming to you a day early this week because there is no school for students tomorrow. We'll have more of that in a few minutes. Here's what's been happening inside LHS.
Next Friday, January 19th, is the end of second term and first semester. Exams begin on Tuesday, January 16th with the regular A and B day schedule, and there are two 90-minute exams scheduled each day.
The midterm exam schedule begins next Tuesday with the exams for Period 1 and Period 5. Wednesday, January 17th, it is the exams for Period 2 and Period 6. On Thursday, January 18th, it is the exams for Period 3 and Period 7. The Period 7 exams start at 1:15 and runs until the end of the school day. On Friday, January 19th, it is exams for Period 4. January exams count as 10% of your grade for full year classes and 20% for semester-long classes. The third term and new semester starts on Monday, January 22nd and runs until April.
There is no school on Monday, January 15th, as we celebrate the life and contribution of Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. King, who was one of the leaders of the American Civil Rights Movement in the 1950s and 60s, died in 1968. In addition to there being no school on Monday, banks and government offices are also closed. Classes resume on Tuesday, January 16th.
Inside LHS will be off next week for midterm exams, and it will be off the following week as well as we begin the new semester. We'll be back on the air and online Friday, February 2nd for the second half of the school year, so look for us then.
And finally this week, you may have already seen the picture of students from the Lancers Care Club who last week delivered supplies to the Daybreak Homeless Shelter. Donations which were collected campus-wide during the month of December purchased much-needed supplies for the Daybreak Homeless Shelter of Lawrence. Those supplies were delivered to the shelter last week. The shelter provides meals and housing to those down on their luck and in need, especially during the tough winter weather. Thank you to everyone on the LHS campus who contributed to help the Daybreak Shelter.
Well, that will do it for Inside LHS this week. Again, there is no school tomorrow, January 12th, for students on the LHS campus. Teachers will have a full day of professional development. As this is my last newscast of this school year, I would like to thank everybody who's worked with me and on cameras behind the scenes. And, may the next person be better than me. It'll be hard, but thanks for watching. Have a great long weekend. We'll see you February 2nd.
I feel that, first of all, it's an honor to see them growing and to be able to be part of that. Secondly, I think it's just so great, the willingness to actually come in and give back to the community. Like he was telling me how he feels to walk back through this hall and see the kids walking through the same thing. He was talking to them about how much work it takes to actually make it, but that everybody has that opportunity.
Okay, today we have a very special guest. A former LHS alumni who has made it successfully as a professional dancer. He's currently working on the season 2 of World of Dance, if you've heard of that TV show. And he's here today to teach us a hip-hop combination. So everybody welcome Gustavo.
All right, guys. How's everyone doing? Good. So today's routine, I taught this. I was here yesterday, so I'm going to teach it again. It's the second routine, so I don't know if anyone was here for that class, but just one. Oh, 2. So, 3. So yeah, we'll get started. I'll play the song for you guys, and then we'll get started. Yeah, cool.
What have you been up to since graduating from LHS?
That's a great question. So after leaving high school, finished doing the show on MTV for America's Best Dance Crew, which was cool, and then after that, we went on tour. Then moved to Hawaii. Right after doing the tour, and then I lived there for 3 to 4 years, and then I moved to Australia for 3 years after that, and then now I'm here filming for World of Dance season 2. So yeah, decided to come home for the holidays. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. So that's what I did after high school. Obviously a long journey and trials and tribulations, but yeah, in final, that's what I'm doing now. So just still dancing, I guess, after dancing here. So that's cool.
All right, from the top, 6, 7, 8, you're going, I did it, how I did it. Tick, tick, tick. Boom, ha. So there's a hole. Tick, tick, tick.
boom, hop. One more time. 5, 6, 7, 8. You're going. I get it how I live. Tick, tick, tick. Boom, hop. Are we all right? Move on a bit.
Yeah. So now we're gonna do just a Q&A. If you guys want to ask Gustavo about what he did after he graduated from LHS, what he's been doing since, what he does now, what's a day in the life of a dancer look like, things like that, that you might want to ask. Okay?
You're a choreographer.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite part of being a choreographer for World of Dance?
Oh.
What enthusiasms you?
Oh my God, it's a really good question. I think, so since it's World of Dance and it's on a high platform, and that was even saying when I was in, because yeah, it's on a high platform, so you have to deliver like really high quality stuff, but it's yours. So I think that's what's really dope, that you get to challenge yourself in the sense of that as a choreographer. Because I didn't start choreographing really until like, I was like, what, I'm 26 now, oh no. And so like 21, 22, that's when I really like started taking it seriously. But I did have an opportunity in Lawrence High to choreograph. At the time, there was this really like popular basketball group called And One. I don't know if you guys remember that. Too young, showing my age. So yeah, there was like a halftime show that Kitty got asked to do, and then she asked me if I wanted to choreograph. And I was like, are you kidding? At the time, they were like, big thing. Like it was like, oh my God, And One's coming to Lawrence High. So like, yeah, so I got to choreograph that with a bunch of the dancers here. And that was like my first like hip hop piece that I got to choreograph. That was my senior year? Yeah, senior year. And then I did that. I think it was like, you guys covered it too that day. Yeah. So so it was like cool. That was like, I guess my first time doing that. And then ever since then, like, just understanding that you have a standard to meet by, because now if you do something really good, it's like, okay, how do you beat that? And then the next time. And you're gonna have mistakes. There's gonna be times where you're like, wow, that wasn't really good. Like, I shouldn't have done that. But then you learn from it and then you do on the next one. So World of Dance is really dope because you can do whatever you want. You don't have like any rules or anything like that. So like, that's really dope as well. The TV show is a bit more restricted because you have to do like camera angles, and that's not gonna work. You have to change it overnight. So you're like, oh my God, I already thought I made something amazing. They're like, no, you have to do it again. So yeah, I think that's like the challenge of it, and then being okay with just letting it go. Like if you think like it's really good, but they're telling you that it's not, just believe in yourself that you're like, you know what, whatever, it's good, put it on the show. And then, yeah, so that's how I do it usually. And it works out well. Some people are not as lucky. I think I'm really blessed to say that the stuff I put together works sometimes, or most of the time, so I'm like, whew. But yeah, so there's a lot of pressure and a lot of eyes, but as long as you just believe in yourself, you're good. And it's crazy because I sat where you guys sat. Like I was in the same spot and not liking school and blah, 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 and like not want to go to class sometimes. But I think it's like the whole process of high school and the whole process of like the learning curve and the learning experiences really bring you to like a realization when you get to like the real world, I guess. So yeah. Senior year, I auditioned for a TV show that doesn't really matter anymore. I'm kidding. Because she found out yesterday. So I did America's Best Dance Crew my senior year. So I auditioned, it was like semester 2, so I still was in school, but I auditioned with a group of mine. They were called Static Noise. I was the youngest. I just turned 18, so like that was a really big deal for me to audition for this show. So we auditioned for that. We made it, which was really dope, but I was still in high school. So like I was the only one on my team that was still in high school, so I had to figure out like, how the heck am I gonna be on a TV show and then finish school properly because my mom's gonna kill me. So the Spanish moms are like, do I send it? I'm like, okay, fine. So yeah, so I had to do my midterms before leaving. So they were like, you're not going anywhere until you finish your midterms. I was like, and I had my flight and my contract in front of them. So I was like, well, this is great. I closed it up, and then I had to like do every after school program to make sure I finished it. And then I had still a semester left, but I only had one class. I was senior. So I had one class, which was forensics with Miss Ansley. Yeah, so I was with her for that, and then did the show, we did well, and then I came back, finished high school, and then like it was just from there, the door was open. Like really, it was just like back-to-back things, and then we went on tour for a cool second, and then I moved to LA, then I moved to Hawaii. So then I moved to Hawaii for 4 years, and that was cool, and I did this competition called Hip Hop International, which is like the Olympic like hip hop dance thing. And then I met people from Australia and New Zealand, and they asked me to go out there and teach out there for a bit. And I was like, are you kidding? So from like Lawrence, Massachusetts to like Australia and New Zealand, where the royal family's from. So like I was able to do that, and then I moved back this year to I'm in California now because of the show. So they asked me if I wanted to stay home for the holiday or stay in California for the holidays or come back home. I was like, send me home right now. So they sent me home, and then now I'm here in front of you. So I came a long way, like, and I think it's all what's really dope. And I say this in general. If you're gonna do something, really push for it, no matter like what obstacles you come across. And sometimes it's gonna be family. Sometimes it's gonna be your mom being like, you can't do it, and you just gotta believe in yourself enough that you know what you want to do. And if it's something like I want to work a 9 to 5, or I want to be a lawyer, or I want to be a dancer, or I want to be this, you just gotta be like for certain and just prove yourself that you can. I think.
Do you have any message for today's LHS students about what life is like after high school?
It's real. It's real.
Don't tell me that.
I think only because it's like you only have to worry about 8 to like I guess 3:07. Like you know what I mean. So once you leave that, you don't have that schedule anymore. You have to make your own. So I think that was a real wake up call. Getting out of school is like the fact that okay, when I wake up to when I go to sleep, what am I gonna do in between all those hours? You know what I mean? And I have these dreams and this passion, blah blah blah. But how am I gonna get there? So I think that was real for me, like having to figure out. And again, I didn't have that initial support until I made it on the show. So like that was in the back of my head, and like till this day, like it's still like, but I think in retrospect, you just gotta love what you do, and if it's a 9 to 5 job or if it's just something that has to take a lot more work than regular, like except for just applying for a job and going to the interview, and then you want to make your own job, which technically that's what I'm doing. It's like I don't have a boss, you know what I mean? Which is dope, but still like I have to work hard to match that. So I think that's what really like if you're gonna slack on something, then slack all you want, but what's gonna be your end result? Like, you know what I mean? So like, if you don't wanna go to school or if you don't wanna do any of that, and you just wanna chill at home, like what is that doing for you? You know what I mean? So like, I think I had that in the back of my mind, like, I could just be a regular old Joe and just stay at home and go to blah, blah, blah to have a job. And then what am I doing with my life? You know what I mean? Like, I can do that after, still. Like, it's not gonna change. I guess in the time frame of a dancer, in the industry, it's always changing. So like I think that's always have to keep up with that. But if I just do a regular 9 to 5 and work at like, I'm not saying that it's a 9 to 5 is awful, but I feel like for what I wanted to do and with like the passion that I had, I can do that any time in my life. But when am I able to go to Australia, go to Hawaii? Like you know what I mean? Never. So I think I took more of the chance then than doing that after. So I think just take your chances. Have big. If your dreams don't scare you, then they're not big enough. I believe that 100%. Because then what's the point? If it should scare you, like they should be like, oh my God, like I'm kind of feeling some anxiety. That means there's going to be excitement, either good or bad. You're going to learn something out of it. I promise. And I think that was a big wake up call. Me leaving high school, I think, was that vibe and how to figure that out and to be happy with what I want to do, no matter what it was. I feel like being happy was way more important than being miserable doing something that someone else wanted me to do. Does that make sense? Yeah, because I feel like there's so many different routes, and I feel like I'm on the right place, and I feel happy about it. Sometimes I have my lows, but I need those lows to when I get out of it, I have my highs in the sense of like feeling good about what I'm doing. Yeah. So, but luckily I've been having a lot of like high moments. So I'm like, yay! So like it's dope. But there's moments that I'm like, oh my God, get me out of here, or what am I doing with my life? But then you have the right support system. You got to put the right people around you. I said this yesterday.
Yep.
I think if the people, when you fail, and the people who are like, oh my God, what are you doing? I told you, are not the people that are supporting you. When you fail, the people you should have around you is like, okay, so you failed, great. What are we gonna do to get you out of that? Those are the people you need around you. The people who are gonna always like just like be disappointed in your failure, then you need to switch your circle up and just find people that are gonna support you from your fail to get you to success. I believe that 100% as well. So yeah, that's how I've been getting through. So yeah, that's it.
Right now, I get it how I live it. I live it how I get it. I'm pulling with a lemon. Not she ain't living. It's just that I get fit. And this ain't a scrimmage. We ain't finished. I tell you we won't stop. And by the dinner. Like yours, but you're renting. Way low to the top. You could catch me, breathe, and you know I'm like a raw.
With now doing World of Dance, after doing ABDC, and I think it was more the dancer than the choreographer when I was on that show. So with World of Dance, it's a bit of a more higher demand as a choreographer. So there's like, with this group that I'm coaching, there's also 4 of us doing it. So I think, no, 4 or 5 of us. So with me, it's 6. So I think it's the whole, like with producers, if things are not like camera ready, they'll chop you straight away. So that's like the behind the scenes stuff. If your stuff is not ready, we have like a turnaround of like 2 days. So we have a week, but you have to make your routine in 1, then the next day you gotta go drive block on stage. So it's like, you have no time. So I think that having that pressure of having quality stuff for television is gonna be nationwide. And if you don't do well, all the world is gonna see you doing not so good. So I think it's just that pressure. And again, it's the support that we all, as the choreographers, we all support each other, that we make sure that doesn't happen. And we're really honest with each other. And I think that's another thing too, is being honest is it's gonna hurt sometimes, but I think it's what's gonna produce the best stuff. So I feel like with us, if we feel like something's whack and we're looking at it and it's like, that's not good, we're all like, okay, we gotta switch it up. We only have an hour, but we're not gonna put that on stage, you know what I mean? Like, we're not gonna get the right reaction that we want to stay on the show. So it's like, we have to change that right now. And the dancers they trust us enough, and that's the thing, it's a group effort when it comes to that stuff like television, especially when you're doing a group of people. When you're by yourself, you have your own like, blah, 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 but it's always like, we gotta be honest with each other, and the dancers trust us enough that whatever we put on them, they're like, okay, cool. And they can feel it too, like whoever you're working with can be like, this isn't good, but they're gonna dance it because that's what they're meant to do, but they'll be like, this is whack, like I hate this, but, you know what I mean? And then when we say, all right, can we be honest real quick? Do we think this is whack? And everyone's like, oh, and it's like, thank you, yeah. So then we work on it and we're like, okay, then let's be honest and let's do it again, you know what I mean? So, and then we come in, and that's the thing, the kids that are going on the show this year, they made it to, out of 5 rounds, they made it to 3, which is huge on that show because there's J-Lo and them, they just chop really, like straight away. So these kids were doing really well, so that's why they asked us to come back on season 2, because now they're a bit older and they had a really good chance last year. So I think that's why. Yeah, sure.
I feel like it's very raw and real of the realities of your industry. What are some of the perks that you feel like your industry provides?
I think the fact that we get to be ourselves and be real. I think with a lot of things, with TV shows and all that stuff, some people are perceived a certain way. Luckily, the way I've been, especially doing the show before, I've learned that don't lose your integrity because of a television show. So I think that's what's really dope, is that we can be ourselves and people enjoy that. And I can go around and be like, this is who I am, I'm not anyone else, and I'm not gonna be anyone else. And people that appreciate that, and they treat you like that person. They treat you like a celebrity, but I'm not anything close to that, but like they treat you like that because they believe in you're real, you know what I mean? That's exactly what you said. And that's why I've learned to be transparent, but I've learned to be a human and be accommodating to like people's feelings, because sometimes you need to do that, but sometimes it's gotta be black and white. You gotta be there's no gray area, but as a human, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna do all that. Like, that's not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna be so aggressive towards something that if we both have the same interests, I'm gonna be honest with you and we're gonna work on a better product, but I'm not gonna tell you that you're awful, blah, 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 because there's no need. We both love this, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? So I think that's what I love about this industry at the moment, or in the lane that I'm in. There's different lanes and everyone's in it for different reasons, but the lane that I'm in, and I stay there, is that I get to be honest with myself and be happy with that. And people treat me like that on that level because I'm so honest with myself and I'm so honest with what I produce. And when I come back home, it's not a different Gustavo from when you see me on television or you see me doing all that stuff. Does that make sense? So when and that's when I come back here and I'm like, oh, you're still the same. I'm like, I didn't have to change for anyone. So you know what I mean? I am, that's why, because I get to be myself, and that's what's really dope. My whole journey, I've just been me. I haven't felt like I had to be anyone else, and that's what's so dope about being in this industry, in the sense of that people are accepted to that. I'm really lucky that people are accepted to that. People can be like, I don't like you, I don't like that vibe, you need to switch it up. That happens all the time. But it doesn't matter what you want to do. If dancing's your thing, dope, because I do it too, so like, you gotta remember just to remain humble and remember where you come from. That's why I wanted to come back to Lawrence High. Like, some people leave and they're like, I'm too good, or like, forget about Lawrence High, or like, you know what I mean? Like, but I think to remember where I come from and to walk through it, like, it's different now. It's way different from when I was in high school, but like, to even walk in the hallways and feel like some type of reminiscent to everything and like what we went through as students and the supports the performing arts teachers had for us. And that was all across the board, like from singing to band to theater to dancing. Everyone supported us, like no matter what we wanted to do. And there was a group of us that were really like passionate about doing whatever that it was. Some people became English teachers now, but they were like actors, like dope actors before, but it's just a different lane, like, you know what I mean? And sometimes, like, high school is not, sometimes you have like a really bad, like, you have great friends, but like the work of it all is gonna be really annoying, and like being here is gonna be, sometimes it's gonna be like, ugh, I don't, but that's anything in life, you just gotta push through, like, you know what I mean? So.
Boom, boom. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and yes. So you have 5, 6, 7, you're going 1, and boom, ha, and boom, ha, boom, ha. It's exactly that, it's not faster than that, I don't think. So 6, 7. Yeah.